Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're at my little art desk and I wanted to do a mini review on my new travel brushes, but I also wanted to fill this tin. So this tin here is a perfume tin. I purchased these sample packs and it's so convenient. I think it's super resourceful to recycle things, especially when it makes sense. And I love how compact it is for a little travel watercolor set. So I decided to give it, what do I have here? 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 palette, 12 little wells, and then leave this portion for like maybe a sponge or maybe a mixing palette. And also love that I can use this as a mixing palette. So that's what we're gonna do today, so let's jump into it. So I usually carry these little pans, and I mentioned these in a previous video and how I label them. I love labeling them this way just in case if I lose one or one comes out of the pan, especially when they're dry like this. At least I know that the color is associated with a sticker. And if you do end up dropping one out, I'm pretty good at recognizing the color, so I know that that will happen. But if, let's say, it pops out of the container and you don't know what color it is, at least you can associate that sticker with the sticker in the back, and then you can see that that's your raw sienna. So that's how I like to label my items in my little pans. But so these pans are a little bit clunky and large, and right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 colors in here. I can typically add more colors in here. This is meant for like a travel brush, but I don't. And so that's my vibrant palette, and this is more of my neutral. Nope, this is my vibrant palette, and this is more of my neutral palette. And you can see the color difference here. And I love carrying these around, but my travel bag is getting out of control. I have to condense, and maybe that can be my next video, is my what's in my bag, travel bag. But that's another video or another topic. So with that being said, let's fill this one up with some of my favorite colors. I do have the option to add more, which technically I could fill up. So let's see, if we take these out of here, I could add 4, 8, 16, right? 8 and 8, 16. So I can actually carry more colors if I wanted to. And then if I really, really wanted to, I could turn these sideways. Okay, I've turned on my light just to see the colors more accurately here. Okay, so what are my go-to colors? We all know I love my opera pink. Now that I'm properly saying that, I was calling it opera. I don't know what's wrong with me. So that is for sure. So let's see. Ooh, I might not even have enough. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. What if I make a palette of unusual colors? I love these bigger tubes because they last so much longer. I do have a lot of like the smaller tubes, and they're pretty much like done. Okay, so let's pick some colors. So I love opera pink. I've been calling it opera pink thanks to my dyslexia, but that's besides the point. Unfortunately, I just noticed that I'm like pretty much like nothing's in here. So I might just refill either this one or my studio palette so that I don't lose any pigment. I could just cut this in half and kind of scrape things out, so I won't be able to grab that one. I'm definitely going to use my my buff titanium. I was thinking New Gamboge. So I'm thinking, now that I'm refraining, I was gonna go with my favorites, but I'm thinking I need to go with my standard landscape palette. Okay, so instead of using this as reference, because this doesn't have every color, I'm gonna use these. I made these, and this is all the colors that I have. Okay, so for this segment, I blabbered a lot about different paints and things, and I didn't realize how many empty tubes I had. So I ended up going with the paints that have the most paint in them, and I then narrow things down. But you know what that means? I have to have an art haul soon because I need to refill on that opera pink. Okay, so we have ultramarine blue, which is a good color to have. French ultramarine. I don't know what the difference between those two are because they look exactly the same. So I can definitely combine if needed. Yeah, there's like no difference between those two. Sometimes I feel like these companies just scam you out of buying more colors. I think it all ultimately comes down to how they mix with other colors like white and yellow. So like this French ultramarine might mix differently with like the yellows than the regular ultramarine. So technically it is a different color, but I'm still rolling my eyes, and that's besides the point. So I might mix those two together. Okay, so I was blabbering again about paints and pigments and all the pizzazz about paint, and I thought that it was kind of boring. So I'm just going to do a voiceover here and explain why I decided to make a third watercolor travel palette. So I kind of briefly talk about how thin this palette is, and I really loved the compactness of it. And I'm actually traveling this week to Portland, Oregon, and I'm going to take this palette with me. I'm also going to do, like I promised, my little what's in my bag travel art bag, whatever. I don't even know what to call it yet. But the purpose of me doing this is to essentially travel light, travel small, and make space for other things. Okay, I think we have our 12. Okay, so here's the selection. Mine orange, quinacridone rose, quinacridone purple, carbazole violet, burnt umber, raw sienna, titanium buff, nickel azul yellow, Hansa yellow deep, ultramarine blue, undersea green, Payne's gray. I decided to eliminate the shadow violet because it is very similar to the Payne's gray. It's so pretty though. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a space. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Oh, Black Joe. Okay, Payne's gray wins. Very technical method. So I've been using this little mini palette to go for about 2 weeks now, and I absolutely fell in love. I love the color selection that I made. Unexpectedly love the color selection I made, I should say. I mean, I thought these were going to be out of the box, kind of weird color selection for me, but somehow I managed to fall in love with this palette, and I created a swatch that I'll insert. Okay, we have filled the palette, and I did something fun with the Hansa Yellow Deep and the Nickel Azul Yellow. I didn't have enough Nickel Azul Yellow to fill the pan, and I decided, and I also didn't have enough of the Hansa Yellow, so it was just enough to do a quarter of a pan, because technically this is half, so it's a quarter and a quarter, correct? I don't know. I filled the half pan halfway. So, ooh, I didn't massage this one out. So then I also use this. This is actually sort of like a rubber brush that sometimes people use for modeling clay or any type of polymer clay. I also added a couple more colors by Daler-Rowney, and these ones are Aquafine Watercolor. I've usually have used the Daler-Rowney inks, and I love their inks. I did not expect to love their watercolors. I had a huge issue with this palette, and I overpacked it, and I was able to get colors all the way to the bottom, but when I went to go use it again the next day, things got stuck and I could not open the palette, and I was freaking out, and I finally pried it open without ruining the box. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below which color was your favorite, and I will see you in the next one.